So, Dr. Dom.
Tim, my man. Yeah, I'm great, you?
Yeah, I'm good. So, I'd just like to let everyone really get to know a bit more about who you are and what you do and why I'm interviewing you today, because I think it's a massive area of health that most people miss and don't put enough focus on it. And so I'm obviously here with you today in Germany. So what I would like you to do is just tell me a little bit about who you are and what's going on and why I'm in this amazing clinic in Germany.
Okay. Thanks, Tim, for interviewing me here. So my name is Dr. Dominik Nischwitz, or you can call me Dr. Dom or whatever. I'm a specialist in biological dentistry and ceramic implant, naturopathic doctor, functional medicine doctor, expert in nutrition. I would say I'm a health nerd, if you want so, and I do this for quite a couple of years, since I'm like 20 years old. So Tim is obviously here for his dental work, or he's interested in what is oral interference, and maybe actually because he's seen so many people or so many doctors, what is really consequent biological dentistry. And basically this is what we do. So I found out personally over like the last 16 years that oral interference is a big one, and also being now a little bit accepted to the biohacking community, and just found it like a half a year ago. I see that in all these podcasts, it's a little bit a missing area. Also in functional medicine, the course I did like 2011 or something, you talk about heavy metals and a little bit, touch the base maybe. But consequent biological dentistry really means that your mouth is the mirror of your overall health, and the dentist is actually trained as a mechanical worker or craftsman. This is something to do with it wasn't a doctor at the beginning, like 100 years ago, it was just a craftsman. And now we are medical doctors actually, evolving. And the approbation for dentists in Germany is from 1954 and just changed this year. So it's really just a mechanical focus. So a lot of people have metals in the mouth. That, for example, heavy metals like mercury or other things. They have root canal fillings, which are actually the vital organs, because a tooth is basically an organ, kind of like a liver or your stomach, with a blood supply, a lymph supply, and an autonomic nervous system. And also you have this field of cavitations, the so-called cavitations, ischemic bone disease, or better would be fatty degenerative osteoneurotic bone, which is actually not even now accepted in dental medical school, so it's still like an outside field. So there's a lot of chronic things going on in your mouth that could actually make your whole body chronically sick, because you can actually do things around it. You cannot biohack your way around the dentist in this case, and the problem is that most dentists are not interested in this, or that you don't learn it in university that way.
Well, I think that's a key thing, just to jump in here, is taking it back one step is that a big part of my journey in the biohacking and health optimization journey is that I had loads of health issues going on, and it always seems to come back to my mouth. And obviously the mouth being the entryway to the body, a lot of people underrate it. They don't realise that there's things going on there that they don't realise are happening. And I think dentists look at teeth, they look at pulling teeth or filling teeth, and making it aesthetically pleasing or getting rid of immediate infections, but the underlying hidden infections or underlying things that you don't realise are happening, standard dentists, in my opinion, aren't trained to see them, therefore they don't. And I think where biological dentistry comes in is it's actually looking at a more of a holistic mindset, as in what else is it doing to the body, what do we need to uncover, and then how do we make the rest of the body work by fixing the mouth. And I think that's where obviously you come in terms of biological dentistry, in my opinion. And I know in the UK anyway, the system, they don't know this stuff. Whereas you seem to know all the cool stuff from the biohacking and health optimization world, as well as dentistry, and pull it all together. So that's just a bit more, I guess, background on how I see what you do specifically. And would you say that that's a good...
It's a perfect combination of everything. Thank you for seeing it like this. The dentist is trained to work on one thing, which is biting. The tooth is only for biting. So if there's a symptom, and the one symptom that you have, everybody knows is like dental pain. So the dentist regularly, not every dentist, but in general, just ask, is there any pain? No, then it's fine. Or is there a hole? Then we just fill it. They don't think about that the tooth is actually connected to your overall body, whereas you already said it pretty well that the mouth is actually what everything starts with. So when you go like out of the womb into the world, you will go through the vagina, and your whole microbiome you get from your mom through your mouth. So actually, this is where it all starts. So your microbiome is in your mouth, and it's way bigger than the one in your colon. So it starts there as like, let's say there are 400 different species living in your mouth, whereas there's only 100 different species living in your colon. It's at the end of the thing. So like your whole body is kind of like a worm, where your body's around it. So the inside body is same as your skin, the outside. And if you have like stuff installed there that could bring you into this sympathetic nervous system tone, like chronic fight and flight mode, chronic inflammation or chronic stress is basically the basis of all chronic disease, which is the epidemic of this of these years. So chronic disease. And yeah, I also had to learn all this, but I'm interested in intrinsically interested in this because of my own health and my own health journey. And I'm doing this for such a long time that I just had the time to try all these things. And if you're like motivated because you have your own problems, like your own health problems, then you find solutions. And I had the chance to have like work with very great mentors and still do, like Dr. Dietrich Klinghardt, which you're also familiar with. And he's like the guy who's searching about heavy metals and borreliosis and chronic infections, unresolved trauma. And he's also a big one. He's pretty big about biological dentistry. And I told Dietrich like 10 years ago that I'm going to be the guy who tells the regular dentist. That's why I call it biological dentistry, or why we call it biological dentistry. It is a holistic approach, of course. And we also use all the spiritual sides, but we start with the basis. And the basis is just your physiological body anyways. And if you have, like, for example, just mercury or heavy metals installed in your mouth or root canal, which could lead to a chronic activation of your sympathetic nervous system, then you will never come out into the rest and digest and the parasympathetic mode. And there are good environmental doctors, like for example Kurt Müller here in Germany, or like Thomas Rau from the Paracelsus Clinic, where I was also working at like years ago. They would say 70% of all chronic problems start in the mouth, and actually because of some mechanical restorations that would have been done like maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, because they work. So root canal, for example, is initially a pain treatment. You have massive pain, you have a big cavity until your nerve, and then you have just massive pain. And of course you will get a root canal because this is like standard of care. But from a medical point of view, ask Joe McCullough, he has a good article about this. And from a medical point of view, it's never been a good idea to leave a dead organ in your body. And then you have to see, you have 32 teeth, like including your wisdom teeth, on the biggest brain nerve, which is called the trigeminous nerve. You have 12 brain nerves, and 50% of all these 12 brain nerves actually have been taken place by this trigeminous. So this one must be pretty specific or pretty necessary for something. And all these teeth are on this nerve. So what the nerve does, so if for example you have an amalgam filling on your tooth, and this study is going back to the 20, 30 years, Speransky did research there, and they just put in like toxic oil or even heavy metals into the teeth or cavities of dogs, and then they just measured the retrograde axonal transports of toxins into the brain stem, hypothalamus and ganglia, and within 24 hours all these toxic mercuries, all these infections are able to go through the nerve, kind of like in your brainstem, and from there in your whole body. That's why it's also the connection. So you know that your whole soul and everything is basically in your gut. Your gut is your second brain, and basically your brain is just translating what comes from there, and everything will be translated or like switched over on your tooth. So if there's a dead organ, like a root canal, there's no blood flow anymore, there's nothing anymore. So it's just a dead area. And of course you have to know, and this is what we teach. We have a curriculum in place where we can learn like everything about immunology. You have to know about these things. You have to know about toxicology. You have to know about how your body detoxes. You maybe have to know about SNPs, like methylation, SUMT. You have to know about liver phase 1 and 2. You have to know about how the parasympathetic system works. You have to know about like all these different functional medicine things. And if you don't know about these things because you don't train it in your university, initially it would sound to a regular dentist like blah blah blah. Yeah, and move on.
I mean, I think one of the things for me that strikes me as different is that you do have a functional medicine approach to dentistry, and if you've got health issues going on that you can't put your finger on, but you're having teeth issues, then obviously there's a good correlation between the two. And I think I've met people that have had migraines or headaches for years and years and years. They've actually just got a root canal tooth. That is causing the issue, and when they get the tooth taken out, then funnily enough the migraines resolve. Or they've got a mouthful of amalgam fillings, which is obviously has part of mercury in it, mercury being a neurotoxin and very, very bad for us, which causes all sorts of different issues because of enzymatic reaction issues as a result of having mercury in you. So it's like you're looking at it from a holistic perspective and go, sure, it starts with your mouth, or we think a lot of health issues come from the mouth, which can resolve things like headaches and things. And I think pulling it all together in one place, I've never actually been to such a significant clinic in my life, and I've been in and out of quite a lot, and especially in the dentist space. As everyone that knows me will know, that dentistry has been a big part of my journey, because again, self-motivation is a strong thing. But I think, well, I mean, there's a few other things I'd like to discuss actually, just to move on to, if that's okay, because I think you've got a book coming out in English soon, because it's currently out in German.
Yeah, the book in Germany is already out since the beginning of this year, and actually I'm kind of proud of this because they told me, the publishing system told me, that it's below 1% of all German books that will ever be translated to the US, because you cannot say we will translate it to the US, so that an English or an US publisher has to come and be interested. They're also translated to China actually,
really?
And France and Canada is already done, so it's going to be out in March 2020. It's going to be
amazing.
It's all in your mouth, yeah, and it's connecting the dots between like your oral cavity, like chronic stress, and your oral cavity in the whole body. Basically, biological dentistry only means that the mouth is also part of your body, and the teeth are not outside of your body. It's like the right in the beginning.
And yet we forget this, right? It's just crazy. So what do you think is the next biggest thing that's going to happen in standard dentistry? The stuff that you know about, the cool stuff, compared to the stuff that the other guys don't quite believe or aren't quite up to speed with yet. What do you think is the next thing to go mainstream?
So I hope, and I'm kind of like feeling that biological dentistry has to be the next level of dentistry, because it's not going against regular school medicine, which is more mechanically driven. So I always say that the basis has to be high-tech, high-level, manual, skilled labor. It is the basic. But now you're able, as a dentist, to help your people on your patients on the health side, which is the most fulfilling thing actually. Of course, you have on the one side, I'm a big achieving guy, so I like to do big surgeries. I'm only doing surgeries, removing root canals, placing ceramic implants. This already is kind of cool. But if you tell me on the next day, my depression is gone, my chronic back pain is gone, and I've seen 29 doctors before you, but 80% of all my symptoms are relieved, this is a fulfilling thing. And so actually, for all the dentists that are kind of like having not the nicest day, because most people hate to go to the dentist, it's becoming something different. It's more like they wait for your appointment, they wait for like the chronic interference, and it starts with informing the people. And actually that's why I signed up for doing this book, because it wasn't on my bucket list. They just asked me, found me through YouTube and asked me if I can gonna do this as an expert. And then being on all these magazines now and on the spot. And I think it's the right timing, because on the side of the mechanical stuff, we're pretty high tech. So this helps with the dental colleagues, and everybody who knows me, gets to know me in person, knows that I'm just doing this by heart. It's my passion. And I actually really like it to like skeptic doctors, to explain them on all the levels, like if it's microbiology, if it's detoxification, immunology, all these different natural like approaches. This really is a challenge for me. I like that, but you have to be a little bit open-minded for this, because it's just new stuff.
Well, you have a lot of people, I mean, coming from around the world to come and see you here specifically, right? I mean, it's quite a unique approach. I see a few bits of what you do around the place, but I don't necessarily see everything brought together, like a biohacking or health optimization clinic that starts with your mouth. So you have people from around the world coming to see you here. I think you were saying earlier on that only a very small percentage of people that come to you actually are local, because you're in a village in Germany.
Yeah, this is funny, right?
So I mean, tell me a bit more about where you are and the type of the different countries that people come to visit you from around the world.
This is really crazy. So this evolves all the time, of course, but I would say, so I'm in a town called Tübingen, which is pretty close to Stuttgart. It's in the south of Germany. and it's actually quite rural, which is pretty good because we have like a setup of building biologies, like no Wi-Fi and stuff. But I think it's kind of like the profit in your own land doesn't work, because I would say at least 50% of my patients come from the US, or like even crazy countries, or like far away from like South Africa, from, you name it, they come from everywhere. I don't know actually how they all find me, but a lot of them are coming, of course, from US and Canada, but also everywhere from Europe. But from this town, like where I live, it's a little tiny percentage. I would say, yeah, it's sometimes like more like, whoa, you from this town? Really funny, because the average amount of kilometers they're traveling is 300 to get here.
Amazing. So, I mean, first of all, when it comes out in English, let me know, because I really want to have a copy
you get it
from
first.
you. But how can people find out more about you and find out more about the clinic and the things that you do here? Because I think it's a really important piece for people to understand more about and do a bit more research about you online as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of online things. Just Google my name, you will find a lot. But also the clinic is www.dentaesthetics.de, actually, for Germany.
Yeah.
Com was already gone. Then I'm on Instagram for doing all these my food design concept. It's Dr. Dom1. And yeah, maybe I don't know, probably you don't have any show notes in this case, because you're a radio station.
We'll make sure the guys have all the details. I mean, so it's can you pronounce the surname for me? Dr. Dominik?
This one?
Yes.
Nischwitz is Nischwitz. Dr. Dominik Nischwitz is my name.
Lovely. And we can find you on your website. Well, thank you very much for today. It's been amazing to hang with you, and looking forward to going and get some healthy juices next.
Yeah, the juicer, my man. You got it.
Thank you. Take care. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you very much.